Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. Happy first week of December. I hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Me and Evan are a little under the weather, so if you find us sniffly or raspy, then this just shows our dedication and our love to you guys.
Been doing too much smooching.
I know, too much kissing all weekend between me and Ev. We just gave each other whatever illnesses back and forth. But today, guys, first week back for December. Before I get into diving into everything, if you guys could do us the favor, I'll give you the quick 30-second spiel. Subscribe to the podcast, whether you watch us on YouTube or listen to us on any of the apps on your phone. There's a subscribe button. If you could press it, that'll help us keep bumping up the charts. And we can ultimately help more people, and share it with somebody. If you know somebody that's been wanting to get in shape, especially with the new year coming up, that needs some help or you don't know what direction to turn, use this to help them. Share it with them. Share it with a friend, your family. If this has helped you in any way, we could certainly love to spread the love and help everybody else out as well. Now, like we were saying, and we touched on it a little bit last week, this stretch, I would say past 30 days, but basically starting on Thanksgiving all the way up to New Year's, is when people gain sometimes the most amount of weight in this month cycle than they do the past 11 months in a row. And with the holidays coming up, with the past holidays, and even us, we have our work party on Saturday. You might have another work party to go to, Christmas, New Year's. It's very easy to get wrapped up in everything, right? And people's number one excuse for why they don't exercise or why they don't, want to eat healthy or get to the gym is because they don't have time. And you're going to see this a lot in the next month, where people right now, even for the gyms, this is when we're the slowest out of the entire year. Summertime is kind of slow, but this month of December is just crickets. Come in, do your workouts. I get it. People have things going on. But this, contrary to what your brain wants to tell you, is a time of year where you can get a lot accomplished. And a lot of us right now, our schedules are flipping. Our schedules are changing. We might have time off of work. Yes, we could still have stuff going on. But the number one thing that people say is, I'm going to get started in the first week of January. And usually that first 2 to 3 weeks, we don't even run a challenge the first 2 to 3 weeks of the year, because we know it's going to be insane for people. The kids are going back to school finally, right? You're getting them back into their routine. You might be kind of getting back into a normal schedule for work. But in the meantime, emails are piling up. There's phone calls. There's stuff you have to kind of piggyback, almost like if you were gone for vacation. It's that first day back that you're like, oh my gosh, I got so much on my plate. Working out, taking care of myself is the last thing that I'm going to do right now. And then you'll see, that stretch from it was Christmas, it was New Year's. Now I'm trying to get back in the groove. Now I have school starting and work starting back up. And all of a sudden you're almost through January before you're like, now it turned into 2 months because I just didn't start when I had the opportunity. Whether it's December, whether it's January, you have a lot of time and a lot of grace and a lot of wiggle room during this month to get a lot of stuff done. And I know there's that golden date of January 1st, 2025, when people say the diet starts Monday, the diet starts on the 1st. But if you can use this month stretch to really kind of set the tone, you don't have to be perfect, especially with the holidays. But use this as your ramp-up month. Use this to get rid of the initial soreness. Use this to kind of start to get some crappy food out of your house. That way, when January does come and work is piling up and the kids are going back to school, you're like, I got a sweet routine. All I got to do is copy and paste this baby in. Workouts are good. I'm not sore. I got my water down. I got food in the house. What you don't want to do is have to do with the kids going back to school, work piling up, and you're like, crap, I got to reinvent my whole lifestyle now on top of doing all this. And that's when you see the can get kicked down the road. It's almost for months and months and weeks on end.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's giving yourself a million things to do when you could be, you can make it a lot more manageable on yourself. And there's this awesome quote. I don't obviously know it exactly, like always, but it's like start on a Thursday, start in November, start at night, and it basically is just saying like, just because it's not Monday at 5 a.m. and you're in the gym on January 1st doesn't mean it's not going to be an effective workout. We have the easy, the hustle and bustle of the holidays and my socialness and all of this stuff and the work will be nice and easy come January. And just like you were saying, it's actually the opposite when it comes to work. That's when everything gets serious again. You have to be more mindful. Kids are in winter sports now that are starting that they weren't necessarily doing or whatever. I don't know. It's like we just kind of, and it's just us being dishonest with ourselves, yet it's something that is kind of universally accepted. You go, we'll pick back up after the holiday. It's like the uh, the letterhead you put if you're in like corporate America. Everybody right now is just signing off. We'll circle back after the holidays. We'll circle back, and then it's gonna get their 8 hours every day, but not really do any work for the next. We start to do that with the gym and with our nutrition too. We go, well, January 1st is when everything starts again. And it's just unrealistic. And also, you think about January 1st, it's New Year's Day. It's a day you have off work. You're not, you don't, that's not going to be perfect. You're not going to everything. Gyms are closed, some of them. So I don't know what this idea of this perfect, everything's going to fall back into routine. It's like, no, that's the most depressing Monday of the whole entire year, because all of a sudden you have nothing but dark.
Back to reality.
And cold weather and your responsibilities for the next 3.5 months until we get some sunlight back, at least in Michigan, 4 months. So, yeah, and the biggest thing is, as always with fitness, is you're not supposed to just do it all at once. And this doesn't matter what time of the year it is. You're not supposed to just necessarily, well, you can, but it's a lot harder. Have perfect nutrition, start hitting the gym 5 days a week, hitting PRs and lifting heavier the scales trending in the right direction every single day. Like that whole 10 out of 10 perfect ideal thing is just, it's so unrealistic to obtain for one day, let alone just fall right into and do it one day and never stop it. So think of it as stuff that you pick up along the way. First off, you're doing workouts. You're not worrying about your nutrition at all. But if this month you start working out at a gym three times a week, starting now, come January, you have 4 weeks, a month's time of consistency with that. So in January, you got that down. And then maybe in January, you add a 4th day, or maybe in January, you start worrying about your nutrition. A couple dinners a week you make sure are very clean. Breakfast, you shift over to whatever. You get the cream and sugar out of your coffee. You do some type of tweaking. And then, by February, mid-February, March, all of a sudden you're somebody who has been working out 3 times a week consistently for 4 months. Your nutrition is completely a shell of what it was, but it's all much more obtainable. It's just being able to focus one thing at a time rather than us kicking it down the road. January 1st comes. January 1st is a holiday, so we go, well, January 2nd. January 2nd, we go, well, that's a Tuesday, so I'm going to wait till next Monday. And then you go, oh, I'm going to wait till February, blah, 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 blah. The beat goes on. What's up, buddy? Go ahead.
No, but like you said, it's realizing that every day can be a starting point, and every day can be the catalyst to get you in shape. And I'll give you guys an example of this. Hallie's, my wife's brother, is getting married 3 days after Christmas. We have to drive to the wedding. And we said, we're like, I don't want to look like shit in these Christmas pictures or the wedding pictures. I don't want to feel bloated, don't want to feel gross. So this month, I'm like putting my nose to the grindstone in terms of diet, in terms of nutrition, knowing that I'm not going to be perfect. Like I said, we have our Christmas party on Saturday. We have the actual Christmas holiday. My family does Christmas Eve. But, this is a month where normally I think a lot of people would just throw in the towel and they would go, I got too much going on. Whatever happens, happens. January 2nd or 3rd rolls around and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get 8 pounds off of me just to be right back to where I was the day before Thanksgiving. So it becomes you're doing twice the work just to get back to where you were a month ago, rather than kind of setting the goal of today's going to be the start of something. I know that it's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to tune this up as those weeks go along. If you have a day where you have a holiday, or like we were talking in the beginning of this podcast, where you don't feel good or you got a cold or you're just not up to snuff, those days will happen. But if you can do, okay, I'm going to make the best out of this time that I was given, instead of just going, it's either 0 or 100% every single day, you can keep the ship and the ball rolling in the right direction. But with a lot of us, like it's these Jedi mind tricks that we've kind of picked up over the years of working in gyms is, it's always this January 1st, January 2nd is going to be the start of something new where, if you were serious, any single day can be your January 1st or your January 2nd if you truly want it to be. There's always going to be hiccups. You can keep looking, forward and going, well, February 14th, Valentine's Day. So I can't, I got Valentine's Day coming up. It's not a good day. And then I got Easter. Or I got a birthday. There's always something every month. Or multiple weeks or weekends every month that look like a reason why you can't succeed. But like we said a couple podcasts ago, if 28 days or 27 days or 25 days out of the 30 days of the month, you did great and your diet was pretty clean and you got some, sweat going, you're going to look a lot different at the end of 6 months or 12 months, just tacking in those 25 successful days. So realizing, especially now, when things begin to slow down for you, when you have more free time, it's very easy. People are creatures of habit where we go, if it's not in my system or it's not in my daily it feels like something's broken. And, we said this on a past podcast, but the weekends, how weird is it that when people have the most time on the weekends to themselves is usually when they fall off the most with their diets, with their workouts, with the nutrition, is because we don't have a schedule. We don't have a system. We wake up and we just have free time to kind of do whatever we want. But the same thing goes with this time of year. You're stuck in a system, you're stuck in a routine, then all of a sudden it breaks for these next 3 weeks. And even though you have more time, the time management that you used to have isn't there. And, you're whatever you're doing, spending more time with the kids or spending more time watching, Christmas movies and stuff like that, which is fine. But going, okay, still got these pockets where I can get a lot accomplished, use that to my advantage. So that way, when the first starts or the second starts, I can kind of just, I'm off of the tarmac basically, and I'm kind of in the air and flight mode rather than being like, oh my God, I got to power up the engines. Here comes all the energy. It's going to be so hard. You want to get to cruise control as quickly as possible and maintain cruise control at all times.
Yeah, well, we handcuff ourselves with just the thought experiment that's going on in our head, and just us constantly being like, oh, this needs to be blah, 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 blah. It's just berating ourselves and making everything harder. So, yeah, January or whatever, December 10th comes and you feel like, you know what, I'm gonna go to join the gym today. I've been talking to whatever, and I think today's the day, and I do it. And then you talk yourself out of it just because it's December 10th, or just because you go, well, what's the point, or what's the this, I'm not going to do this consistently. It was just a day. I had kind of a wild hair up my ass. Just felt like that type of stuff is what is so demoralizing to people and what stops people more times than not. It's almost like we're thinking about it too much. We just need to start putting things into play. You need to start doing stuff, and you wake up, like you said, you wake up sick one day. Am I going to have a workout that's great, if any, today? Absolutely not. But does that mean, so it's Tuesday, does that mean, well, I guess I'll just put it off this week or whatever? No. Depending on how sick I get, hopefully not, my first workout of the week might be Friday. But you still got to do it. Every day is kind of its own thing. And it's not, we're looking at it in big chunks of weeks or months or years is the fastest way to get overwhelmed, and then also to not let yourself feel any of the growth that happens, because you do a workout and even in the workout you go, big whoop, it was my first workout of the month. That's no way to think about doing anything. That's like going to work and being like, big whoop, that's 1 day's pay of my 2-week pay period. Who cares what I just did? It's like you're never going to be happy then, ever. You're going to be happy every second Friday. when you get paid with that mindset. It's like, well,
Yeah.
no, that's not it, and that all is intrinsic. That's a way of thinking and way of picturing things. When you wake up, you go, well, this makes me feel good. I'm going to do it, and it's not going to be perfect. And I'm sick today. I'm under the weather. I had a late night. Kid's sick. He's not sleeping. Whatever excuses. It's a holiday. It's a birthday. Whatever thing comes on your plate, you go, okay, well, if there's this, there's time. And it just becomes a normal way of routine and a priority in your life and in your day. But trying to find the perfect time or whatever is maybe one of the number one causes why people don't start in the first place. And then when they do start, they get the overwhelming feeling of it's too late, where they're 30 pounds heavier than they wanted to when they started. They now have knee issues, back issues, hip issues. Everything's harder to do. All of the slew of things that we see throughout the year of members joining or whatever. Past members coming back that have gained a bunch of weight and lost mobility and things that and then you can see the frustration on people, and they're mad. They're mad at themselves, and it's just like the first step, I think, is to let go of all of that. We need to, and you need to just go, yeah, okay, today I made a conscious choice to do something good for myself, and I did. I did something healthy for my body today. I'm 1-0. I'm 1-0 today. I'm not thinking about that I'm 1 for 365. I'm 1-0 today. And let's try to go 2-0. And then, it's the
Winning the
mindset.
day rather
Yeah,
than focusing on winning the month. And you're like, if
right.
I can just win each day, all of a
Yep,
sudden a month goes by and you're like, damn, I rocked it that month.
right.
But if you looked at the month ahead, starting on the first of the month, you're like, how am I going to do this for 30 days or 27 days? It's overwhelming. I got stuff going on. When you're just like, nope, I got 24 hours. What am I going to do in the 24 hours that's going to benefit me and make me more successful? Then you wake up the next day, you do the same thing. Okay, new 24 hours. Here's what I got to hit: workouts, water, sleep, whatever it is, protein, all that stuff. And if you can just tie that in and don't look so far down the line, you begin to lose sight of what's directly in front of you. And you're like, this was an easy win today, but I was looking 6 months or 6 weeks down the line. And that's part of the reason, even for like when we do our challenges, I know it drives people nuts, but when we start them, you know, every week basically has a different theme of what we're going to be doing. Some you have more carbs, some you have less carbs, and everybody wants to know when we start, well, what are we going to do in week 5? What are we going to do in week 6? And I'm like, if we tell you ahead of time, I know you guys will automatically look at week 6 and go, that's going to be hard to do. That's going to be too difficult. What do I do for week 1? And then week 6, we're supposed to, I'm like, don't even worry about week 6.
Right.
Worry about what you got to do tomorrow. That's all.
Right.
That's all that's important. Focus on that week, and then we'll talk to you about the week after that. But it's a common thing, guys. People like to be, prepared ahead of time to a certain extent. But when it hampers what you're going to do, and it can potentially wreck the very first week ahead of you, we're like, just focus on the next 7 days. That's all you got to do. And then the week after that, we'll work on the next 7 days. Once you rock that, we'll work on the next 7 days. But it's very easy to be so farsighted and always kind of looking down the pipeline of, well, I got this on this day or that on that day. And then everything just kind
You
of
can
begins to crumble because you're not focused on the current time period.
you can apply it to anything. Have you ever had your busiest day of? I remember this when we used to do the big challenges long, long time ago. Um, when you're the busiest day of your week is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Those are like your big work days. It
Yeah.
makes the whole week suck. Monday is Monday, so it sucks no matter what. But you're like, there's no end in sight until Saturday at noon. That's when my week is done. When
And that's
most
if you're lucky.
Yeah, and so that makes that whole week hard, but that's all because of what we do up here. Realistically, it's still just 3 tough days of work. You know what I mean? So if you just wake up and you handle the day and you stay real present, and this can go into a slew of other deeper conversation of what everything is, but you can apply the same exact thing into the gym. And then we talked about this a little last time. The positive feelings that you get and chase from doing a workout are so important for you to continue to do it and to show up. And the second you start that big picture feeling and you lose those feelings of accomplishment when you're done with a workout, it makes it so much harder. Like you need to finish a workout and go, wow, I did that. I'm good. If you are doing something that is not giving you that feeling, it's a recipe for disaster. It's the easiest way to fall off. So a lot of times that happens again intrinsically because we go, well, who cares? It was my first workout of the week, or it's my first workout in the last 2 weeks because I've been on vacation, or my first workout this year because whatever. It doesn't, it, that's not, you're doing the hard work and then you're getting none of the immediate reward. There's not everything gets an immediate reward. And when it comes to fitness, it's definitely not immediate. It takes a long time to build muscle, takes a long time to lose weight. So if those are your goal, which is 99% of people in a gym, excuse me, it's going to take time. But the immediate effect you get is walking out of the gym or even finishing the last rep of the gym and laying down in a puddle of your own sweat and just being like, okay, it's done. Thank God that's over. You're breathing and you go, wow, I really got after it today. That you're stopping yourself from even getting that little benefit when you're too far ahead, and that's not fair. That's going to stop you from showing up.
I agree.
Because you go, what's the point? I'm not going to see this until 4 months from now. I don't care. I'm not going to do it.
But that's the thing. If you're not present enough to appreciate the hard work that you're doing and you're just constantly chasing the result, I mean, the result is part of it, but when you're not realizing I'm getting stronger or my clothes fit better or I'm happier or I have more energy or able to push myself more, like you said, my knees don't hurt anymore or my back is better or I'm able to touch my toes now. All those things happen. You can't predict when they're going to happen, but one day you go to the gym or you exercise and you move and you're like, holy shit, my knees haven't hurt in 3 weeks now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Or my back has been feeling great or I'm not exhausted every single day. Those are the things that just give you like these little, if you think of them almost like pep talks along your journey where you're like, you're going the right way, you're doing the right thing, everything is working, you're getting better, you're getting stronger. But I know we're big, advocates on, don't always follow the scale. You can use it kind of as a reference point every so often, but there's a lot of ways to measure success. There's a lot of ways to measure productivity. There's a lot of ways to measure if what you're doing is moving things in the right direction. And I think for a lot of us, especially this time of year, we get so hyper focused on the scale. And then the tendency people have that first week of January is to ultimately almost feel defeated. Like they're like, I said I wasn't going to do it again this year. I said I wasn't going to allow myself to gain weight this year or quit on myself this year, do whatever it is this year. And then here comes January. You got this, clean slate and you're ready to go. And all of a sudden, the first thing that pops into your head when it's time to get in shape is you feel defeated. You feel like you let yourself down. You feel miserable. You're like, oh my God, I gained 10 pounds again. I said I wasn't going to do it. How do I keep doing this every single year? And imagine if, every single year you were back at the same starting line. You would get exhausted after a while. You would feel defeated after a while. You feel like, why do I keep doing this to myself? But with this podcast, guys, take this as kind of like your wake up call and go, okay, I can kind of right the ship this month, no matter how perfect or imperfect it's going to be. But how much better are you going to feel waking up on January 1st or 2nd, knowing that I went into the new year doing everything that I could to stay in shape still. I did everything that I could. Yes, there were some holidays, but I'm going to feel a lot better about myself, happier about myself, knowing that I didn't let myself down and I didn't quit. Instead of going, I just didn't do, jack shit for the past 45 days. And here I am on January 1st, kind of picking myself off the ground and trying to kind of reassemble all these pieces.
There's also a lot, sorry about that again, but there's also a lot that happens when you first start working out again. You're going to be very sore for the first week. That's pretty common. So you have to deal with that. Yeah, your appetite changes, your sleep changes. There's a lot that goes into it. So if you can start knocking that stuff out now, January is just, you're going to be...
It's a breeze month.
I'm repeating myself now, but yeah, you're ahead of the game. Also, everyone's starting in January. So why would you walk into a gym and be one of the new people? Why don't you walk into the gym and be like, yeah, I know what's going on in here. This is pretty normal for me. And then you can actually help somebody. Maybe that's a new motivation or whatever. But yeah, it's the just getting ahead of the game. So it's like you got the opportunity. Let's take advantage of it. Same with nutrition. If you're somebody that's like, well, January 1st is when nutrition starts because Christmas Eve and Christmas and New Year's Eve are going to be kind of rough. It's like, well, you can find 3 days a month, every single month, that are going to be hindering, so that it doesn't matter. If you how about the deal is you eat perfect except for those 3 days. Ready, set, go. It's like, okay, well then that's still hard. That's still a challenge, and yes, great things will happen, but that's not really what's stopping you. What really is stopping is that it's hard. It's hard to do. So start chipping away. Don't do everything at once. What's the eat an elephant? It's the best way to eat an elephant. Don't eat the whole
One
thing.
bite at a time.
Yep, just gotta go small. I can't stay any longer. My son's losing his mind.
No worries. And we got one announcement before we sign off with you guys. We got a new whey protein flavor. So we have rolling out at the end of this week. This email just came in about an hour ago, hot off the press. But if you go to core4supplements.com, we have, I told you before in the podcast, we have delicious protein of various flavors. We are reformulating our vanilla. It was vanilla frosting. Get ready. Now it is vanilla cake.
Wow.
I know. Mind blowing. But the good thing is they reformulated some stuff in there. 22 grams of protein, only has 2 carbs, which is insane for a protein shake. It still tastes delicious, still tastes awesome. But if you go to the website and you're like, I swear to God, it was vanilla frosting, you're not going crazy. We reformulated it. Now it tastes like vanilla cake, and it still tastes delicious, and it even has better macronutrients on the back. So if you want to grab it, core4supplements.com. Like we said, guys, if you need stocking stuffers, if you need stuff for your family, for your friends, if you got like a nephew or anybody in your family that's a gym rat, or you just don't know what to buy for people, we have everything. We have whey protein, vegan protein, green supplements. We have sleep gummies. We have pretty much, you name it, pre-workouts. They all taste great. They're all approved by the FDA. They're all safe. And if you're a podcast listener and you use the code word podcast when you check out, you'll save 10% off your entire order. And if you spend over $100, we'll ship it all to your house for free. So if you want to get a bunch of stuff for people, all you got to do is buy it, spend over $100, use the 10% off coupon, and it'll arrive on your doorstep. And all you got to do is throw it in a little bag or wrap it, and then Christmas is done quick and easy. So one more time, core4supplements.com. New flavor, vanilla cake batter whey protein. Try it, enjoy it. It's delicious. 2 thumbs up, and we will see you guys all next week.
Bye-bye.
Peace.